University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards and, of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go. Wednesday show, March 12th, 2025. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Gang's all here. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube, enjoy. Hit that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Coming up on 80,000 subscribers on this platform. Super chat in effect today. We've got Braylon's Pistons game tickets, 2 second-row seats, a parking pass, a dinner at Parlay. We're going to pick the winner on March 27th. All you have to do to enter in, go to the Super Chat. $5 will get you 1 entry. $10 will get you 3 entries. $20 will get you 10 entries into this for the game on March 28th. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you.
Speaking of the Pistons, man, what's up with Shaq?
Oh, man.
What's up with Shaq?
That's a whole nother ball game that we got to get into later today.
Yeah, man, I always feel high about Shaq, man, but I'm a little perturbed that he's letting an L he took back in 04 lead him this way. But whatever, I'm doing good though. Enjoying my day.
You look good.
Appreciate that, man. A little black on black.
You work out today?
I did actually.
Heck yeah,
I did
man.
actually, man. Back in the gym a little bit, feeling good about myself. Relaxing.
I can tell, absolutely. Tom Mazaway, good afternoon to you, big guy.
All I got to say is garbage. Garbage was on the air a couple hours ago. Garbage. Okay? I love you, Neil. Garbage. D-Mac, I love you. Garbage.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Pete Spivak, Ricky Burns in the house today, fellas.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. How we doing?
I'm doing fantastic today. How you guys doing?
Doing all right, man.
All right.
Hanging in there, ready for
All right,
pinball
very
later
good.
on.
So, here's the deal. I was told earlier today, to use a phrase from my good friend Neil Rule, that he was talking about us earlier today.
Okay.
So, it's something I rarely do, but I gave him a listen. And it has gotten a lot of reaction online. What are the latest statistics here for the Woodward Sports X post yesterday that we put out based on a conversation that we had about the direction of the Detroit Lions franchise? You know, that's the great thing about
43,000.
this network. We're sitting on 43,000 views right now. We're sitting on 123 comments.
Yep.
43,000 views. Instead of me telling you what the clip was, let me show you the clip.
Oh, I only have Neil's stuff, guys.
Perfect.
Okay.
Sorry, no, I
Tom
only have Neil's
Mazaway.
stuff. Sorry, guys.
Thanks for that. Okay. So can we get the clip? I'm sorry, I put it in the WhatsApp chat. So
Oh.
off to a great start.
Well, then I probably missed. That's on me then.
That's
I probably
all right.
missed that one.
It's okay.
That's
So,
on me.
We'll
Blame me.
talk amongst ourselves until we can get the clip.
I can cut right to the chase what your clip was.
No.
Well, I want to play it and give the
I'll
full
get it, guys.
context.
That's my bad.
Hold on.
Yeah, Pete works fast. He
Hold
got
on. Let us all stay on the same track. This is us versus them. This is not us versus each other. So let us all
Not
take
yet.
a beat.
I'm still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I missed it. So I'm trying to
Okay.
figure out
Let's
what
take a beat there.
So you take the 2-hour
happened.
show.
Quentin Tarantino, tell us the end and we'll go back to the beginning.
Here's the deal. You take the 2-hour show, we clip it up. This was actually a very accurate. Sometimes when you take the full context and they clip it out, you don't really get the full context. This was the full context. I stand by this clip. This clip perfectly encapsulated how I feel about the Detroit Lions and their moves to free agency so far. And because it was a perfectly executed clip, it has garnered so far, in less than 24 hours, 43,000 views and 124 comments. After 48 hours of this negotiating period, I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl under this current state right now. Again, I think it can happen, but I'm over 50% now in my Super Bowl meter that is going back and forth. My Super Bowl meter was once here at 100. Then it was about 60%. They're going to win, I think, but I'm not really sure. Now it's at about 25%.
Oh.
My Super Bowl meter is about 25% as it stands right now with the information that we have right now. Because I don't believe, and I've said this before, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I do not believe you can draft your way to a championship. And I don't think you can. Today's NFL ain't yesterday's NFL. It just doesn't work anymore. So, my good friend Neil Rule, who can be heard weekdays here, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the Big D Energy Show, had this to say regarding that clip. He was very angry.
On Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. So the time has come, everybody, because I'm seeing this more and more, and I'm seeing it around town. And things are going to get uncomfortable right here, right now. Because for me, the bottom line is this. You are either in with this organization or you are out. You can't half-step, and you definitely can't tell me because they didn't sign the guy you wanted in free agency that we're out. It's over now. That's absurd. That's absurd talk from people. And then number two, by the way, if you're out, then my sneaking suspicion is you've been out. And for the people like Ermanni that want to flip-flop and go back and forth, that's fine. Do what you do. I'm not here to tell you how to do your job or anything like that. You do what you do. But they're here at this network. They're here all over the place. There's guys like Easy out there with the Jared Goff stuff. Just come out and say it. Say they can't win with Goff. Say it. Say it. You say you do softly. Oh no, I've changed my thinking on that. I think they can. I think they can. And then all of a sudden something bad happens and you're like, oh, see what happened with Goff. There's Goff turning the football over. Just cut the shit and come out and say it. Say they can't win with Goff. Say that you don't trust Brad Holmes to deliver a Super Bowl. This regime here will win a Super Bowl. Will it be next year? I don't know the answer to that. I can't guarantee you a year, but they're built to last. They got a guy that's a real talent evaluator in charge. They will get the job done. So if you don't think they can, then just come out and say it right now. Say it. Say it. Don't passive.
It's not a passive aggressive. And the idea that you can't, that you're either in or you're out. That's you can't activity. Go back and forth.
That's gang activity.
I think it's idiotic, number one. I'm not calling you an idiot, Neil. I'm calling that take idiotic. Calling me a flip-flopper. No, it's not a flip-flopper. I'm just not stuck in my characterizations. The more information you have about a subject, about a topic, about anything, the more information you have about it, the better informed your opinion can be about said topic. I now have more information about where the Lions are right now. More importantly, I also have more information about where their competition is right now. 2 years ago when they won the NFC North, that division, it was almost non-existent. Aaron Rodgers left the Packers. They had a rookie quarterback essentially, a first-year starter essentially in. Minnesota left 8 or 9 starters off their team from a year ago. They were just coming into their own. They were nowhere near where they should be. Chicago was a disaster as always. That division set up for them 2 years ago. Last year, it was a little bit more difficult. Chicago was getting better. Green Bay was getting better. Minnesota was getting better. It took 15 wins to nail that division down. The more information you have about something, the better informed your opinion can be. That's not a flip-flop. That's smart. And this idea that you have to be all in or all out, that is absurd. Lions fans who grow up here their whole life have every right to feel however they feel. You want to be all in, go for it. You want to be SOL, go for it. I'm not SOL, but I'm not mad at you if you are. If you want to be half in, half out, You do you. This organization has given you Zotsky. Nothing. We go, oh, they won a playoff game. They made it to the NFC Championship game. They made it to an NFC Championship game.
For the second time in their history.
This is Super Bowl 60 coming up. If you guarantee yourself that this organization is going to win a Super Bowl, God bless you. Please say a few prayers for me along the way. But God bless you if you could tell me that 60 years have gone by, and more than that, I'm just counting Super Bowl years. You can go ahead and guarantee all in that this organization is going to win a Super Bowl. Great. I'm not there. I am not there. I'm not there today. I was there once because I thought they had a layup to the division. And then after the San Francisco loss, I thought they'd get back. They didn't get back. They didn't win a playoff game. And then Neil had this to say.
And if Brad Holmes didn't sign the guy you wanted in free agency, and everyone's flipping out about them not getting guys that weren't available to them. The Max Crosby thing, the Myles Garrett thing, all of it. Like, people are mad about stuff he didn't do. What was the move you wanted that you didn't get? I'll go back to this then, and anyone feel free to answer this. What move has happened so far in free agency where you're like, oh my God, that shifted the whole fortune of the entire National Football League? What move?
Not much.
The answer to that is what move has happened. You can say that. But more importantly, what move hasn't happened yet? That's what I'm concerned with. What move hasn't happened yet? Because if I look back, correct me if I'm wrong, Neil Rule. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe the Lions won the Super Bowl last year. In fact, I don't believe the Lions made it to the NFC Championship game last year. In fact, I don't think the Detroit Lions won a playoff game last year. So if they're not getting better, if they're not improving the team from a year ago, and you spare me the injuries. Spare me the injuries. I don't care about injuries. This is the National Football League. If you can guarantee me that this team would go through clean next year, this is going to be a clean year, no injuries. Goff is going to play 17 games, Hutch 17 games, and Aleem McNeil and everybody else, and Gibbs and Amon-Ra and everybody's healthy. You guarantee me that? Okay, fine. But this is the NFL. They did not win it last year. They have not made any moves this year. They have not gotten better this year. I'm sorry if I got 1 foot in and, yes, 1 foot out. But what move hasn't been done? I got news for you. That ain't my job. I said it yesterday. That part is not my job. I don't know who's available. Did you know that Joe Thuney was available? Did you know that one of the best offensive linemen in the AFC in the league, Joe Thuney, was available? Was he shopped? Did he request a trade? Did he want to be moved? No. Chicago had a need, and they went out and looked. And they're scanning. They find this guy. This is a perfect fit for us. We need to go get that guy. Chicago did that. It was a shock to the NFL. And I'm not saying that changed the balance of power in the NFC North, although I do believe it came a lot closer. I think that is a perfect example of what you do when you are aggressive. Because I do believe the Lions were one play away, or one player away. I do believe they are that damn close. And when I say you cannot draft yourself to a championship, somebody in the chat just puts, well, what about Philadelphia? Well, let me help you out with the last 6 Super Bowl champions. And let's start with Kansas City the first time they won this, okay? Kansas City went out and they got safety Tyrann Mathieu, linebacker Frank Clark, cornerback Bashaud Breeland, and wide receiver Sammy Watkins. Go look at the stats. The next year, Tampa Bay wins it. They get Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and Ndamukong Suh. The next year,
And
Matthews,
Antonio Brown.
And Antonio Brown. The next year, I'm just giving you a couple. This isn't even all of them.
backing you
The
up.
next year, the Rams, Matthew Stafford and Von Miller.
OBJ during the season.
Thank you. What about the next year? Kansas City again. Safety Justin Reed solidified the defense, and Juju Smith-Schuster. And not Juju Smith-Schuster of today. Go back and look at the stats. 82 catches that year to lead the way. He was magnificent for the Kansas City Chiefs. Repeat champs the following year. And then you want to know what Philadelphia did to win the Super Bowl this year? Oh, yeah. What about 26? The best non-quarterback player in the league. He made more impact
MVP.
at a non-quarterback position than any other player in the NFL. Saquon Barkley. And, oh, yeah, defense. What about C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Not the one that played for the Lions, the one that solidified that defense on the back end for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm sorry, guys. When you're that close to a Super Bowl champion, you go out and get the player that you need to put you over the hump. The Lions have not done that this year. Who'd they get today? Some guy, a defensive lineman. I don't even know
Roy
his-
Lopez.
But thank you. Did you know that I saw this from Burkett today.
Never played
Did you
overseas.
know that from Burkett, he was not only graded 8th in the NFL. This was not his grade in the NFL. He was 8th out of 10 defensive linemen on the Houston Texans last year. Oh, man. So, forgive me.
Cardinals.
8th out of 10 for the Cardinals. Not 8th out of 10 in the NFC. Not 8th out of 10 in the NFL. 8th out of 10 for the Cardinals. So,
He's a
forgive
nose
me.
tackle, by the way.
Forgive me. Okay? So, if you can't sit here and criticize the Detroit Lions, if you got to be all in, oh, God, oh, the Lions, if you got to be all in, I ain't all in. I need to see something. Today's NFL ain't yesterday's NFL. The last 6 Super Bowl champions went out and made some moves. I'd like to see some moves.
Let me answer Neil's question about who did you want to get? Who did you want to get? I just wanted one player to put on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. I'll just throw a name out. Josh Sweat. If you would have signed Josh Sweat, you would have improved your team from last year. I know, he cost $76 million. Whoop-de-doo. The Kansas City Chiefs just chopped off $50 million off that salary cap that Neil's in love with. The salary cap that really doesn't exist until years later, after you've won a Super Bowl, after you've been back to an NFC championship game, after you have made 12 wins or more for 3, 4, 5 years in a row. All we asked for as a team here was one player to put on the other side. Yeah, we were crying for Myles Garrett. Yeah, we were crying for Max Crosby. Yeah, we want Trey Hendrickson. Yes. But we couldn't get those guys. Trey's still out there. We're not going to get him because they don't sign anybody. They don't go out and sign anybody that never belonged to them, except they give Roy Lopez $4 million. And I hope he's good. He plays the center of the defense. We need someone on the other side. So he'll help DJ Reader a little, if DJ Reader is even healthy and stays here. We asked for one player, Neil. Like I said yesterday, I wanted anybody to come here that needed a name tag. Someone different, because if you trot the same team out, which is very good, they're superb. And they will make the playoffs again, the Lions. And if they're healthy going into the playoffs, they have a chance to win. All we asked for was one guy that wasn't here before. Instead, you lost Carlton Davis, and I'm going to defend Ife Melifonwu. You lost those guys off your team, off your defense, and you added DJ Reed. Okay. And you added Roy Lopez. Okay. To me, that doesn't seem like we're taking the next step. Okay, I will wait to April, 53 days to go, and we'll hope he pulls Jared Verse out of a hat. But if you don't, he might pull a Broderick Martin. He might pull Pascal. He might pull a Corby Sorsdahl. I don't know. There's only one player on this team that's going to get paid this week or next, and it's Kirby Joseph. Told you that before. It's the only guy you got to sign. The other guys, you wait your turn. Aiden Hutchinson, you wait. Ryan said it yesterday. Braylon said it yesterday. He was hurt in college. He was hurt here in the pros. He snapped his leg in 3. God bless him that it was a clean break. Dr. Pierce tells us every time he's here, he's going to be good. He's going to be fine. The leg is atrophied. That's as big as my index finger right now. He'll put back the muscle. He'll put it back. He'll be back. It'll take him a while to become Aiden Hutchinson again, the one you saw last year before that tragedy in Dallas. All we asked for was one player. That's all. I didn't think we were asking for the moon.
I don't know why Jared Goff was brought up, but since you want to bring him up, the answer is no. I don't think he can win you a Super Bowl because he couldn't even win you a game against a mid-defense in the second round of the playoffs in which he had home field advantage. You need Jared Goff in the biggest way. And guess who didn't want to show up? I don't want to hear about Amik Robinson. Amik Robinson's some all-star DB. He's some number 1 shutdown DB. Oh, he got hurt, and that was it. Your quarterback that you paid $53 million had the opportunity to prove that he was worth the $53 million, and what did he do? So you can kill the Jared Goff conversation. At the end of the day, you can be all the way in and still have concerns. I'm all the way in, but I have concerns. As an investor, when I'm all the way into my investment, I still have concerns when I see the market dip and dip and dip. So, yes, I'm all the way in. But because before 2021, the Detroit Lions had never had a GM that was comparable. You never had a coach that you really, truly believed in. And you never had an owner. And now you have all 3, and so now you don't want to criticize them. I get it. It's cool. You want to support them and have their back. Because other shows do that. All they do is criticize the Lions, even still. So I get it. But that's not what we're doing. We're trying to make the Lions better. We are trying to improve like other teams are improving. We get it, the low move that costs this, or we don't want to pay a lot of money and we'll get the players that fit into that. David Montgomery was a hell of a job. You got a good year out of him, and then you were able to repay him. So I understand that. But how many have you put onto this staff that are injured? Whether it's Marcus Davenport was injured before he got here, or Emmanuel Moses that was injured before he got here. And the list continues to go on. That's all we're saying is now going into this offseason, you have Aiden Hutchinson, who compound fracture we assume is going to be better. You have Aleem McNeil, defensive tackle, finally coming to his own. He tears his ACL. We assume he'll come back. DJ Reader, we assume, but he was already hurt when we picked him up from the Bengals. We're just saying revamp the defensive line, make that move. I'm patient, but at the same time, I can see where others are moving and we are not. And there's a pattern building up. Wait till the draft. There's a pattern building up. Do it for cheap. Get the players with optimism if they finish the season, if they can play for us. That's all we're saying. At the end of the day, we are fully into the Detroit Lions. But are the Detroit Lions fully into making the necessary steps and the necessary moves to win the necessary games to win the necessary title?
To add some positivity, I have to give it up to him that he is by far the most loyal man I've probably ever met. Because he's basically like get down or lay down. Like you either in or not. That's like gang activity if you ask me. And
We're all fans, Ricky.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
He's no more a fan than me.
100%.
Don't tell me what to do. I'll tell you who to root for. Don't tell me who to root for or how I root. If I wear a different shirt, everyone's on me. I own 1,000 freaking team shirts.
100%.
I own the most Lions gear that probably is in Detroit.
You speak of being loyal, but that's the stupid part that I don't understand, because if you turn on any radio station or podcast in the cities that are winning, with the exception of the Super Bowl winner right now, all those analysts, no matter how good that season was, the Rams included, they're all talking about this is what this team needs to do to get better. This is the moves that needs to be made. This is what I see, or this is what I want to happen. Everybody's talking about getting better. Nobody's sitting there and just saying to the fan base that's listening to them, that has a platform, and say, yeah, we just, everything's perfect. Everything's hunky-dory. It's going to work out. We already got the squad. In Brad, we trust. We keep saying that.
No, I 100% agree.
Let Brad cook. Dan Campbell, we trust it all. So what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to just come up here and say nothing and say, oh, yeah, they'll figure it out. Then what else you want to talk about? Because there's the show.
No, 100%. I agree. I 100%. You should be able to. It's like your friends. Like, you should be able to the ones that judge.
We
your friends
glazed him
harshly.
for 2 years.
Man.
He deserves a little bit of what we're giving him. It's in my opinion.
Yeah, and a lot of this is, I speak for myself. It's not even that the lack of moves is the whole thing. It's how many moves other teams were making, and we just weren't even close to keeping up. That's what made me the most nervous. I'm watching everybody else get all these picks. It's like, yo, what are we doing?
The same moves were made this year that were made last year.
I guess I'm a little curious to the fan base, really, because I'm not sitting here telling you you're an idiot, that you are so blindly loyal and you are so like, if you think they're going to win the Super Bowl, if you know they're going to win the Super Bowl, you go, boy. You go get it. Go fight, win. Go team. Yeah. Like, I don't think you're any one way. I think the curious part to me is how any reasonable person, and maybe that's my problem, how any reasonable person could look at anybody, any Lions fan whatsoever, and question that they are questioning if this team can win a Super Bowl. How any reasonable fan could look at a Lions skeptic and say, no, you're wrong. You can't criticize this football team. What are you doing? You don't know what you're doing. And all the people in the chat, I am shocked. I think we have some pretty smart listeners, viewers. All the people in the chat, and there are more than a few guys. Yeah. There are more than a few that have said, well, what about the Philadelphia Eagles? Didn't they draft their way to a championship? I don't even understand what planet they're on. They got Saquon Barkley last year,
Zach Bond,
who rushed for 2,000 yards.
Zach Bond. For A.J. Brown.
And was the MVP of the league.
Yep.
And a couple years before that, traded for A.J. Brown.
Yep.
Their best wide receiver. So even if you don't want Brown in the mix, okay, this was not a playoff team a year ago. And they went out and they're the same team virtually, and went out and got Saquon Barkley and made him a Super Bowl champion.
Mm-hmm. And wasn't Devontae Smith a free agent signing?
No, he was a
draft.
He was wow, okay.
So I just, that's the one missing piece. That's what I'm talking about. He was the missing piece. Yeah, you drafted yourself into a great situation. You absolutely have to build it through the draft, and then you top it off. I don't even know how that's objectionable. I don't even know how that's an objectionable comment. Build through the draft. You can get good to a point, and then you top it off.
I just don't understand the infatuation and love with building it one way that hasn't necessarily completely worked. It's worked to get you to this point where you're NFC champs, you're back-to-back double-digit wins, 12 and then 15. So it's got you to a point. But everything gets a team to a point, and then they take the next step. You look at the 49ers. Now, they've been in 2 Super Bowls. They haven't won Super Bowls. But look at the players that they've gone through to get to that value point. They just haven't closed the door. They went and got Javon Hargraves when he already had Armstead and Nick Bosa, and then added Chase. Like, you make moves. You look at the Eagles in the offseason this past year, or look what they did 2 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl. The moves and the people that they added. They added a ton of people on that defensive line. And then they got rid of them in the second, and they came back. So the Chiefs, we give you example after example after example of teams making and pulling that trigger once they were close. That's all we're saying. The team is in a very, very good space. But is that it? Is that all we're going for, being in a good space, or are we adding so?
Just by the way, 3 years ago, they did make a trade for A.J. Brown and got to the Super Bowl. I mean, even just getting to the Super Bowl. They make a trade for A.J. Brown, they get to the Super Bowl. Last year, they make a trade for Saquon Barkley sign Saquon Barkley, not a trade, and win the Super Bowl. And even the team that Kansas City beat last year, they make a trade for Christian McCaffrey, and they get to the Super Bowl. You don't think that was a missing piece to get to a Super Bowl?
Let's
My
play.
goodness.
Remember Jeopardy? Everyone likes Jeopardy, right?
Sure.
Let's play Jeopardy. You guys give me the answer to this.
Can we play it after the break?
Absolutely.
We'll do it next. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Get a 2024 Envision for only $299 per month. We got to get a new graphic. Look at that. Yeah, we need a new graphic up in here. You need some new models here. Why don't you do this? Scan that QR code, Les Stanford, and they've got Chevys. Nope, you can leave that up. I need the QR code right there. And then you can get yourself, check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Chevy, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com. Together, let's go.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
How do you think you won?
This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at LesStanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Oh, yeah, everybody. We are an all-digital sports platform. No TV, no radio needed. TV and radio, that's old school. We got 6 family members over there to my right and to your left. That would be YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. Join, like, subscribe on all 6 of our channels to catch all of the great programming here at Woodward Sports Monday through Friday, and weekend programming coming as well. Follow us on all the social media platforms.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Having some fun here. Dan Dickerson, Tigers play-by-play man, the voice of the Detroit Tigers on the radio. Dan Dickerson will join us top of hour number 2. But we are sitting here talking about these Detroit Lions and having some fun. Made a statement yesterday, made an opinion. Neil Rule and Big D Energy came at us, responded to that, and we're just reiterating with some facts of our own here. Actually, just played facts.
Yeah.
And
Neil loves facts.
And, I was told.
Facts are mean.
I was told that facts are.
Facts don't care
very
about your
important,
feelings.
right?
Yeah, Sean, that's Sean's favorite line, right?
Absolutely.
Facts are mean.
Facts
No
don't
doubt
care about your
about it.
feelings.
They are mean. What's mean is your team as it sits, is still one of the best teams in the NFL. All we're saying is that window that we thought was way open for the Lions to make a big run on the NFC North and win it multiple times. They've won it twice, and it's great. But can they continue to win it with the other teams around them? And that is the best division in football. The other teams around them are getting better as well. So if you sit status quo, like we've been saying, you're not getting better. You're sitting status quo. The other teams are closing in on you. So you had a big lead. It's like a horse that's got a huge lead at the 3/4 pole. But the other horses are catching up to him at the top of the stretch.
Mind that
and there's
bird.
a half a mile stretch still to run. So I want to give you guys – go ahead.
Just Burn in the Super Chat, $10, and we appreciate it, Burn. 7 out of 10 of the Eagles' O-linemen drafted by Philly. 5 out of 7 Eagles' D linemen drafted by Philly. That's how they afforded Barkley and Brown. I don't totally disagree with Ryan, but it wasn't all free agents. I'm not saying
We
that
said
at
one.
all.
One.
I please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. You have to draft. You have to build your team through the draft, but you can't draft all the way to a championship. And that is Philadelphia is a perfect example. A perfect example. 3 years ago, they traded for A.J. Brown. He helps them get to a Super Bowl. Last year, they sign Saquon Barkley, and they win the Super Bowl. I don't know how it could be more plain, Braylon. I don't know how better of an example to give than that one. The Lions have drafted as well as you possibly can draft, but now you need more. Now you need somebody to put you over the top.
Look, I don't know what to tell the people. You know, it's almost like I didn't even play the game, so I'm going to just shut up because everybody wants to hear what Neil has to say. I just don't understand. You legitimately have a situation where it's not going to be the same team anymore. You don't have your genius OC and Ben Johnson. You don't have your Aaron Glenn motivator. It already has gotten harder. Now, you want to go to the defensive side. Your defensive line, all of them are hurt. They're all coming back off major injuries, with the exception of Davenport.
He's a walking injury.
And he's a walking injury. That's all we're saying. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, you're adding bodies. But those bodies don't add up to winning games. It's all I'm saying. I speak for myself. So you want me to sit here and say, you know, the moves Brad Holmes is making is A-okay and they're signing the right people and it's the right guys and it's fine. Fine. If you want it, you got it. I hope you get what you need. Congratulations on DJ Reader, Rob Lopez, and everybody else.
He keeps
Congratulations, because anything I say, I'm going against the Lions.
Welcome to the club, Braylon.
I'm going to just talk about the Jets. They stink.
Brad keeps thinking he can pluck practice squad guys like Muhammad, who I loved last year, and turn them into like second, third round draft picks. It don't always work. They are practice squad players for a reason. Let me give you a Jeopardy question here. You know how Jeopardy is.
Yeah,
you see the answer, and you give the question.
Ricky, you got any dude? No, I'm just kidding. You don't have that.
Yeah,
You get
that's
pulled
copyrighted.
down.
All right, I'll be Trebek. Alex Trebek, rest in peace.
Poor guy.
The answer is bing, Jaguars, Browns, Texans, Lions. Yes.
Teams that have never made it to the Super Bowl.
Ding! You're right for $1,000. Congratulations.
Is there a $2,000 question in there?
No, that's it.
Okay.
That's a mic drop. You've never made a Super Bowl. How many times do I got to bring this up? You've never made a Super Bowl. So why are you so confident? Why? How could you be confident?
I'm not even saying that. That's not even my point. If you want to be confident, I have no problem with that. I love that for you.
But it's laughable.
Well, sure.
You never did it.
And that's fine. I'm not even mad about that. I'm mad that you're mad that I'm questioning them. Like, if you want to be your head in the clouds and everything's roses and all that, great. I think that's a great place to be for you. But I cannot even comprehend that you would come down on people who question this viability of this window or where we are right now. And that may change. And if they make a trade or sign a player of significance, yes, I will change my mind because I will have more information at the time. That's not flip-flopping. That's a rule that I live by. The more information you have about something, the better informed your opinion can be about it.
Oh, you said that they're the 25% chance now that they win a Super Bowl.
Yes.
25% chance.
That's what I said.
And they've never even been to a Super Bowl. Yet you gave them 25% and people have a problem with that. If you would have asked me before the season last year, what are the odds of the 49ers making the Super Bowl last year, I told you about 25%. And they've made 2 in the last 5 years. I just don't get it. When I was playing for the Jets in 2009, we made the AFC Championship. And to run it back the following year, we did not run it back with the same squad because we knew that the rest of the NFL was going to get better. Getting out of the backfield, we had Thomas Jones. Thomas rushed for over 1,000 yards. Got rid of him, and we brought in LaDainian Tomlinson. We got rid of our left end and brought in Jason Taylor. And then we got rid of our number 2 DB, and we brought in Antonio Cromartie, who was making $5 million at the time, and we had Darrell Revis on the other side. We went all in. Well, not all in, but we went in to make the necessary changes that we thought would affect and help our team. And what did we do? Got back to the AFC Championship, no further. You got to make moves. That's all we're saying. And if these moves are the moves that are going to be the ones, then congratulations. Job well done.
I guess people are just going to be happy signing our own players, and that's great. I don't want to lose Kirby Joseph. Yeah. I certainly don't want to lose Aiden Hutchinson. I think Kirby's going to get paid here any day now, and Aiden Hutchinson is going to get paid next year. There's no need to pay him this year. He's got to do the work to get back on the field to become that player again. Those guys, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, they earned that money. This kid hasn't earned it yet. He's getting there. There's still 2 years left on his deal. Kirby was a third-round pick, so his deal's up after this year. So you don't have that fifth-year option that you have on those other players. J-Mo is one. Hutchinson's the other one. The other guys are going to come up as well in the next year. Listen, I'm not complaining about the Lions. They're one of the best teams in the league. I'm telling you, the other teams are catching them. That's all. You've got to just improve. I'm not asking you for the world. All I ask you to do is do some work here in this offseason. Pluck one player that would make your team better. And they haven't done it unless you think Roy Lopez is that guy.
It's Rob. And the thing about it is, I'm messing with you. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's that part, man. Is other teams are getting better. Like, you look at what the Commanders are doing. Look, I like Deebo Samuel. You see what they're on the defensive line. They're adding pieces. They're adding prime pieces. The Vikings and the Bears in your own division. Yeah, the Bears expensive. Now, if you want to talk about expensive and what the Bears did, I'm not telling the Lions to go do that. They got a lot of money, and that's going to come to bite them in the ass sooner than later. So I get that part. But in the meantime, it's going to be damn tough to go against. So that's all we're saying is people, not even in the NFL, just in your conference, are making moves to get better. 2 of these teams are in your own division. You got to see them twice a year.
Let me ask a question here, okay? Yesterday, Joey Bosa signed a 1-year, $12.5 million deal with the Buffalo Bills. Okay? You want to know who I'd have loved to kick the tires on? Joey Bosa. You know who you signed instead? Marcus Davenport. You signed Marcus Davenport for $4.5 million. You signed
Roy Lopez.
You signed
that's
Roy,
$5 million.
Okay, you signed
so that's
Roy,
$9 million.
And then you saved $4 million.
That's $13 million.
Then you saved $4 million on the
Carlton Davis.
DJ Reed. And Carlton Davis, DJ Reed. There's $13 million that you could have used to sign this player that may have put you over the top. Probably would have put you over the top. Joey Bosa. Instead, he goes to another definitely top 5 team in the NFL, in my opinion. They just can't beat one team. The Buffalo Bills. And, yeah, everybody's got a hard time beating Kansas City. Buffalo's as good as they get, and they just solidified their defensive line with Joey Bosa.
And they signed DeMar Hamlin again.
Well, DeMar Hamlin,
I'm
fine.
happy for him.
Yeah, I'm happy for him personally. I don't think he impacts you
I get it.
as much.
Just wanted to mention it.
Thank you very much for that, Maz. But I mean, Joey Bosa, you don't. If you're going to kick the tires on an injured player, what about this guy? Why not do that? I mean, I played 14 games last year. You going to get 14 out of Davenport?
No.
Look,
I mean, I'm just saying.
What's
That's an example.
What's his sacks total the last 3 years?
Who?
Joey Bosa.
He hasn't had double-digit sacks in 4 years. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
They had 9, 7, 5. I just
But
looked
again,
this
think
up.
about who
That
you're
still
play-
leads the team besides Aiden Hutchinson.
Understood. Look,
And again, think about who you're playing with too, down there.
yeah.
You know?
I got to keep it all the way funky because I've already said that Joey Bosa wasn't it for me. By my metric, I don't like him in terms of what he is. I just don't like him. However, I think for the Buffalo Bills, I think it's a hell of a pickup. And I agree with what you were saying. If you're going by the logic of, well, this guy costs this guy costs that. At least we know at some point Joey Bosa was a monster. Somewhere down in there, a couple plays a game, you're going to get that monster for $12 million a game, Paul. So I understand that because you brought back injured players essentially. So if you're going to complain about Joey being an injured player, and you're complaining about Davenport as well as, and they have never been what Joey Bosa has been.
B Martin, $10 super chat. Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. The Lions can't keep letting free agent pass them by, believing they'll address their needs in the draft. You got to make a move in today's NFL. That's just where I'm at.
I'm glad somebody's awake in the chat.
That's
They
just
did
where
make
I'm
a
at.
move. They got Roy Lopez.
Oh, you're right.
And no offense to Roy.
No, I think we're
you
going to
know,
like him.
No offense to Roy Lopez. He
I'm
seems
all
like
in
a
on the
great
Lopez
guy,
train.
But again, you know, you got a 5-time Pro Bowler out there in Joey Bosa, a guy that played 14 games last year. So, you know, and I think in today's NFL, I really believe 14 games is the most you can ask for a player. That is my bar, 14 games. I think that is pretty.
That's fair.
Fair.
I just have. I think a big thing for me. I just have the problem with the type of free agents that are coming in. When you think about all the ones that he's brought in, and I don't know if it's bad luck or not, and it happens. Players get injured, but all the ones he's tried to bring in, he's tried to nickel and dime here and figure it out, and I'll just do a little bit of money on this player and a little bit of money on this player. All these players have gotten hurt. Like all of them, Davenport, like all. I mean, I guess it happens in football. I've played it; it happens. But all these players have gotten hurt. All this trying to find the gem and a little bit price for here, so I don't have to spend a lot of money and I can put it over here. All these players. I mean, just look at all the draft picks. I mean, all the free agents that we've had come to Detroit in the last 2 years.
Hey, Pete, when you get a minute, throw up that list of free agents that are still available.
You got it, buddy. I'm going to have to zoom in on
And
it.
we'll have to zoom in. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's see if there's anyone on this list that interests you guys. These are the ones that are left over right now after the first, 3 days have been picked over. Plus, of course, before the free agency opened, you know, people were signing players anyway. Is there anyone on this list
No.
that interests you so
No.
far?
I'm
How
not-
about
I like Evan Ingram. I ain't gonna lie.
how about DeMarcus Lawrence? How about DeMarcus Lawrence?
He's expensive.
How expensive could he be, and what does he have left in the tank?
That's my problem.
I don't care.
I don't even.
I'd bring him in just because I know what he was at one point. I don't know what he cost. To me, I don't give a damn what it costs.
Yeah, you know the
Because
Commanders.
I don't give a damn.
To be honest with you,
about the money.
The Commanders are trying to make a run at him. By the way.
Yeah.
So another one of your
Yeah,
competitors.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
The money to me, and I'm sorry, Neil. I'm sorry. He's so into this freaking
I
salary
know there's
cap.
no salary cap.
I don't give a damn about the salary cap. Championship teams don't care about the salary cap. They just win.
Who do you want to
Then
be?
they worry about it later.
Who do you want to be as a franchise?
Who's won with money left in their salary cap, Neil? Answer that for me. Who's won the Super Bowl with money left?
And like
The
more-
Patriots?
What are you saving money for?
What kind of team do you want to be? Do you want to be Pittsburgh without their history? Do you want
Make the playoffs, but go out in one game?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
I know.
You want to be the Pittsburgh Steelers of the last decade and a half?
Why not?
No, I don't.
That's what I'm
They won a Super Bowl.
in 08.
Yeah.
It's 25 now. That was 17 years ago. That's why I said,
I
you want to
agree.
be Pittsburgh without the history.
Also,
Well
That's
said.
That's what you want to do right now. You want to be Minnesota's got a really nice recent past.
Yeah, they have.
Won the division a couple of times. Won a playoff game here and there. Never to the Super Bowl recently.
Cowboys had a good run of winning the division and not winning the division, but making the playoffs. I know it's been 30 years since they've been in the NFC Championship, though.
all I'm saying, too, is you made your bones off of drafting well. And this is where we started the conversation, correct? Braylon Holmes done excellent since drafting in 2021, right? He's a draft guru, which he's picked up some great picks. But in those years, He had 2 picks in the first round in 21, 2 picks in the first round in 22. Then comes 23 and 24. Great 23, but here comes 24. The picks get tougher as you pick further and further back. As you're picking 28 and 29 and 30, hopefully 32 at some point, it gets tougher. So now you start to find out how tough is the metal. How good is the drafting really? Or is it just you had the 2nd pick and then the 6th pick? You're pretty easy to get those players. Now you're in a situation where you pick 28. What are you going to do? You're on the clock. Now what are you going to do? Because last year we watched what the draft was. We're still trying to figure out what our draft was last year. And now here you are on the clock yet again at 28. Is it going to be more of the same? Because if that's the case, then building through the draft is going to be an impossibility, realistically. Because you aren't getting Jahmyr Gibbs at 12. You're not getting Jamison Williams, what he would have been if you never got at 12. You're not getting Aiden Hutchinson at 2. You don't have 6 to make these moves and get Jahmyr Gibbs as well as Laporte as well as Brian Branch. Now you're picking 28. Now you're picking whatever is double at 56. Now you keep talking about building through the draft. Can you build through the draft when you don't have a top 5 pick each year? Because last year I'm still trying to figure out what that draft was. Oh, but we're going to let Brad cook.
That was remarkable. I think that was well said. And, you know,
I gotta stop yelling, man. Neil makes you yell.
Hey, we signed 2. We
all Neil
drafted
does
2.
is yell.
We drafted 2 defensive backs. So did the Eagles.
They're 2 defensive backs.
I think
One
they're
had
a little
pick
bit better than
6,
ours.
but-
Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit better
worked
than
out
ours.
for them.
That's all.
In all fairness,
Their D-line is-
DeJean
helps.
was about 20 picks before the Lions picked Rakestraw. Just in fairness,
They could have moved up.
I understand. In fairness, I just
True.
I have been
And Rakestraw still might be terrific.
I have been
We have
factual.
no idea about him.
I have been factual all throughout, and I'm going to continue to be factual.
But
I agree
this
with
is-
you, but
This is the first year, though, that we've
Yes.
had to wait.
Yep.
The last 3 years, we've had 2 to 3 guys that were already like, oh, yeah, book him.
Yep.
Book him. This
Yep.
guy is him. Every year.
Last year there was no
year's
book
the
'em.
first one where we're now getting to the offseason, and we're still, what is it going to be? What does the offseason look like for Terry and Arnold? What does the offseason look like for Ennis Rakestraw? That's where we're at now, and that's what I'm saying.
I'm going to give you 3 teams, but before I do that, I'm going to read another super chat, from Mr. Andre Dickerson, $10. Ermanni, is there any possibility that the Lions ownership is restricting Brad Holmes' ability to trade and pay for a superstar? I don't believe so.
Nah, they love him.
That would be the Illiches.
I don't believe Sheila Hamp is doing that at all. I think that is an organization that will spend to the cap, over the cap, whatever the case may be, to win a Super Bowl. I believe that. I don't know that. It's just my belief. I will say this as well. I almost think it's good enough for Lions fans if you just take the last decade, 10, 12 years, of the Green Bay Packers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Minnesota Vikings. Hell, you can even throw the Buffalo Bills in there.
Okay.
You've got this elongated period of really damn good teams in the regular season. 13 wins, 14 wins, 15 wins, just all of it. And just no success in the playoffs. I almost think Lions fans are there. They're fine. They've been so bad. We have been so bad here
We were the 8-8s.
for so long. We suffered through Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia and all these other things. Referees screwing you in Dallas. We've suffered and suffered and suffered and suffered. I almost believe it's to the point where Lions fans are like, they just want to be 12-5 every year. If they win a playoff game, it's a great year. And that's the cap. That's what I'm gathering. That's what I'm gathering by all the chats and all the comments and everything like that. I believe you're fine with 12-5 and a playoff win. And that's okay. It's just not where I'm at. I don't care if they're 9-8, sneak into the playoffs, but they go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. That's where I'm at. Okay? I'm talking about Super Bowls here. I ain't talking about 12-5 and a playoff win. Go be a fan of Pittsburgh. Go be a fan of Green Bay. Go be a fan of Minnesota. Go ahead. And I'm not talking about their histories. I'm talking about the last decade, because that's what they are. They're really good regular season teams. Really good regular season teams. and they might pop for a playoff win here and there. But over the last decade and a half, nothing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just think that the Lions have sucked for so long, and now it's coming. I think the Lions fans think it's going to last forever. I think that they think it's our time. It's the Lions' time. It's our time. A time is continued. A time is added on to and evolved, and that's what we're hoping Brad Holmes does. But just because it has happened, and just because you have some good players, and even if you paid a couple that will be here, you don't have to stay a 12-plus win team if you don't make the necessary changes and the necessary adjustment. That's all I'm saying. It's not forever. This isn't your turn if it doesn't continue to get better. So we'll see, though. We'll see.
We just asked
Go
for
DJ Reed.
We just asked for one player that can make a difference on the defensive line.
You got DJ Reed. I told you he's a good DB.
One guy on the defensive line that can make a difference. We traded cornerbacks, and we signed Roy Lopez, nose tackle from the Cardinals. Good guy, I hear. Matter of fact, I've got some sound from Jonathan Gannon, the Arizona Cardinals coach.
Is he hold on? Is he talking about Roy's 3-sack game?
No, he's just talking about him in general.
Oh, okay.
Here he is.
If you had 90 Roys, you'd be good to go. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying we got a lot of good guys, but Roy, he keeps a good attitude. He's always working on his game. He's team first. He's willing to do whatever you tell him to do. He's got a smile on his face. Like he's a phenomenal human being, and he enjoys coming to work, and he gets better at his game. So yeah, I'd love a bunch of Roys.
Hey, thanks to the Detroit Times for that sound. So he's a good guy. He fits in. So right away, he fits in the culture. He's a good guy. Hey, welcome to the team, Roy. I hope we can do well. Hope you keep on the field and make a couple of tackles for us and stuff. And hey, welcome to the club, guys.
Good job.
Look, realistically, you have to have bodies. You saw that this year with the Lions. You need bodies. You need bodies that can play as well. We had a backup nose tackle when I played for the Jets named Sione Pua. You remember Big Sione Pua? Sione Pua, hell of a guy, funny, and for a big fella, the guy could dance. We need him. Loved his energy when he came in with the second team. So you got to have players like this. I understand that, but it goes back to what I said about yesterday. Just wanting to have those players that feel like they move the needle. But another body is good because we did not have any bodies to throw at the Commanders towards the end of the season.
Is he the Kyle Pecco replacement? Is that where Roy is? Sounds like that's what he is to me.
Sure.
So Kyle Pecco. So congrats, you got a replacement for Kyle
Pat
Pecco.
O'Connor.
Yeah, Pat O'Connor. It's another good one. Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to change it up. We are going to talk a little Detroit Tigers baseball. Spencer Torkelson with another torque bomb today.
He's back.
Torque bomb.
He's back.
Oh, my goodness. What are they going to do with this guy now?
Put him at
he
first
can only
again.
play first. What are they going to do? What are they going to do with the what are they going to do with Labor Day?
Throw Colt Keith the third now.
Labor Day.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
What a
are we gonna
mishmash.
do? All right, we're going to talk to Dan Dickerson. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Buddies. You want to talk about Detroit 313 today? You got to celebrate with Buddies. The original Detroit-style pizza. Buddies Pizza, everybody. 79 years, 22 locations later in the state of Michigan. Detroit's original style since 1946. That 6 Mile and Conant location where it all began, still up and running. Sign up today for Buddies Rewards. Earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddies Pizza app. Start earning today. Add some Detroit-style pizza to your next meal, and if you have got to order Buddies tomorrow. If you're not going to do it tonight, got to do it on 313 Day, March 13th, 313. Save 10% off your entire order by using the promo code 10MEAL, the number 10, and then MEAL. BuddiesPizza.com, BuddiesPizza.com.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce. Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. At Lady Jane's, we take the chore out of getting a haircut. Our talented stylist will deliver an industry-leading haircut, relaxing scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome. Woodward Sports Network, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway. Talking a little Tigers now. It is a couple of weeks away from opening day in Detroit, opening day in Los Angeles against the World Series champion LA Dodgers. For more, let's bring in the great Dan Dickerson, the voice of the Detroit Tigers.
There he is.
Dan, how are you?
Good. How you guys doing? Tommy, how are your Yankees looking?
Oh, they are pathetic, man. They are pathetic. No Stanton, no Cole, no Gee, no Dice. It's over. It's over.
Send a little card to Aaron Boone.
Hey, maybe we could send Torkelson over there as a trade bait. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Tork's ready. Tork's ready to have a big year. You watch.
Here we go.
Hey, Dan, let's start there. Another Torque bomb today in the 4th inning. A 2-run shot for Torkelson, his 4th of the spring. Batting over 300 right now. Batting 310 is an average in the spring. You know, Scott Harris put a lot of pressure on him and said, "Hey, you have to come here and perform." Yeah. To see this young man react the way that he has and perform the way that he has, what does that tell you about who he is and who he can be as a player?
Yeah, no, they did absolutely put pressure on. There's no job for you, no obvious job for you with Colt Keith now at first. But there is still a role for you. I mean, they made that very clear. So, I mean, I had a nice chat with him the other day, guys, just about what he said. It wasn't a big swing change. I was thinking it was a big swing change. He said, no, it's just me being in a more athletic position in the batter's box. He said, when people talked about posture, I kind of thought they meant like, when mom and dad say, sit up straight, guys. He said, no, better posture is that athletic position. Think of a defender in basketball or receiving a serve in tennis. And so that change, narrowing his stance a little bit, bent at the waist a little bit, knees flexed, he said it felt very strange for a couple of weeks. But then he realized as he started seeing results, this is all the off-season work. It's like, oh, okay, this is what I needed. Tigers believe he's still got elite reaction, elite ability to do damage on fastballs and on mistakes. Now you're putting him in better position with that swing path to do damage. How he's responded has been tremendous. I really felt like the only way he was going to make this team was to hit his way on, and it looks like he's going to do that.
Dan, hope all is well. Good to talk to you. Can't wait for
good to talk to you.
Right around the corner. Quick question about you talking about torque. Better position is what he's saying. I found that better positioning involves being in better shape, and is that potentially an issue that he had maybe last year? Because a lot of times with better positioning,
not at all.
Okay, just asking.
No, these guys work, man. You can't point to one guy as like, he really should, maybe hit the weight room a little bit. No, that's not even an issue. Never is. The thing that I think is really impressive is how in the last several years, especially under A.J. Hinch, Scott Harris, there's that coordination every day, off-season, regular season, between the training staff, strength and conditioning, hitting department, and or pitching department, and A.J. And it's just that coordination leads to making sure that you're on top of everybody all the time because they measure everything. And that prevents injuries. You know how much Riley Green just ran in that series in Pittsburgh because you measured it, and So and now you're saying, okay, he's fatigued, or hey, he had 4 sprints last night. Back it off today. So that's the thing that impresses me. But in terms of what shape they're in and how they keep them injury free, it's not going to be perfect, but they do a heck of a job.
Hey Dan, if Torque does make the team, not make the team, but play for a position on this team, he's a first baseman. What happens on the diamond? Who's going where on this? I think it's a mishmash diamond. Let's face it, infield especially.
Yeah, and I think the thing that, that AJ and Scott Harris have always said is, hey, there's a lot of different ways this team can come together. It's a great question because what does AJ Hinch value above all else on his bench with his 4 bench guys? Flexibility, position flexibility. That's why Ibanez and McKinstry, their value is way above what their stats might say because of their position flexibility. So you got a backup catcher, Dylan Dingler, say most days, Ibanez, McKinstry, while Meadows, and I'm just going to assume right now, it doesn't look like Parker Meadows will be ready for opening day. We just don't know with that nerve issue. But if he's not, Bierling we know is not, could be back in April. That opens up kind of the DH spot mostly every day, you would think, for Spencer Torkelson. He'll get his at-bats. If he continues to hit, they need a right-handed bat who can mash. He'll get his at-bats. But, Tommy, that's the fascinating part about the way spring training is wrapping up. I'm going back down today, and it's going to be 10 days before they fly out to San Francisco for the last 2 exhibition games. You still got third base, shortstop. Who's going to play center every day if Parker Meadows is not ready for opening day? Probably Winslow Perez, but we don't know that for sure. And, all these pieces that still have to fit into place. But the Torkelson one's interesting. And that's why I didn't think, Tommy, going in that he really – I'm like, how does he make this team? And he might not have with the injuries. But I was kind of talking with people. You realize if he mashed in spring – they would find a place for him. But it's the position flexibility of so many guys that allows that to happen.
Parker Meadows, Dan, this is a guy that we were counting on. This was our center fielder of the future. This injury, it's a mystery injury, and I've read about it. You know more about it than I, but it's a nerve issue. He still has strength in his arm. He just does not have a lot of feeling in his arm.
Yeah.
What's best case scenario here?
Best case scenario is that the nerve, he gets full nerve, reaction, as they say, the nerve wakes up. It started to, but in other words, that the normal feeling comes back, and it literally could be tomorrow. The fact that he has not played in a game since the opener of spring training just, speaks to the mystery of this whole thing. But it literally could be tomorrow. They cannot even put a timetable on it because they don't know. It could be 2 months. It could be 2 days. So you just keep hoping that, until further notice, that you get the news that, hey, now as soon as you hear he's resumed throwing and normal baseball activities, that will be the good sign.
I know. And the worst case scenario is he doesn't play up to what we thought his capabilities are. And that's another loss for us. Bierling is a loss. You said he could come back in April. Maybe he can't. If he does, how long does it take him to get up to strength? This team, it's got – look, this was the little engine that could last year. And we said it here on the show. And as a baseball fan, I'll say it. was the worst thing that happened to this team was making the playoffs and winning against Houston, or do you think it's false hope? Is what I'm saying to you, Dan. False hope.
What? Tommy,
Yes.
were you watching?
Yes.
Were you watching?
Yes.
That was a team that was coming together, that became more athletic after the trade deadline. And because they were more athletic, they could play a better brand of baseball by running the bases aggressively, making really good defensive plays on a nightly basis. And, oh, by the way, we figured out that Scott Harris and A.J. Hinch really do know what they're doing when it comes to pitching and run prevention. So, no, that carried into their offseason workouts. And so it helps, obviously, in that regard. But then at beginning of the year, spring training, these guys have tasted it and they want to go back. And that helps in some of those April and May games. I look at it like this, and I think I've told you guys this before. I'm not good at making predictions on wins. I actually nailed it last year. I'm not going to, but I'm going to stick with not trying to predict. What you can try to do to predict a win total is what's a reasonable number for improvement in runs allowed? Well, and what's a reasonable improvement in runs scored? They had a middle of the pack offense, but at 680 runs, that's got to be 710 or more. So where does that come from this year? Right now, with the injuries to Meadows and Vierling, nothing obvious other than like a Spencer Torkelson coming back and hitting 30 home runs. But again, there's Colt Keith. There's so much upside in that bat. And Jace Young, keep an eye on that young man because there's upside there. But on the run prevention side, 640 was the second best total in the last 50 years. That number is probably going to go up. But if it stays at 650, 655, and you're at 700 on the run score, that's a 90-win team.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
There is absolutely nothing but upside from having gone to the postseason last year.
Okay.
And it will help them this year. And then it's, the very intentional offseason plans for all of these guys. Remember what Scott Harris said. The improvement is mostly going to come from improvements on the guys who are on this roster already, with the addition of some key pieces, obviously. And they mean that. And that's why I always say the offseason has changed. When I first got this job, it was getting in shape for the next season. Now it's getting better because they give you a specific list of things to do. And then you work on it and you send them video, and then they work on it and they send them video, and there's that constant feedback. And that's why they believe that with the guys they have, they can get better on the offensive side. And if you're anywhere in the neighborhood of allowing 650 runs, you will have done a heck of a job on the pitching side.
Hey, Dan, one thing that does feel different about the beginning of this year as opposed to the end of last year, it was Tarek Skubal in 4 bullpen games. This feels like a legitimate starting rotation now in Major League Baseball. And, you sign Flaherty back. Skubal is at the top. Reese Olson's coming along. Jackson Jobe looks like a flamethrower. And this guy, Casey Mize, who went today, 8 innings so far, 10 strikeouts, no runs allowed, 3 hits. He looks like he's just put a stranglehold on a rotation spot, too.
Yeah, you got 1 through 3, the obvious Skubal, Flaherty, Olson. Jobe is, I can't picture him at Toledo. And Casey Mize, I'm so thrilled for Casey. Just because he really, again, a guy who got better in the offseason by, as he said, you can't really work on making your fastball better in the offseason because that's a velo pitch and the metrics are going to follow your velo and you're not going to throw max effort in the offseason. But that splitter, I think he's so happy with it. And now locating the 4-seam down and pairing the splitter that go right off of that, it looks like it's a 4-seam. 4-seam looks like it might be the splitter. They lay off. It grabs the bottom of the strike zone for a called third. He's got a lot of weapons. He's searching for swing and miss. He's working on 3 different sliders. And I just think that he's got to be thrilled with, I know he is, how this spring has gone. But if you've got Jobe, Mize, 4-5 with the way they're pitching right now, and think of Jobe, think of kind of Justin Verlander his rookie year. It was not, people are focusing on the swing and miss. They're focusing on the wrong thing. The swing and miss will come. Justin Verlander wasn't a strikeout an inning guy. His strikeout rate was below 7 per 9 while he was throwing 100 his first year as a starter in the major leagues in 2006. Jackson Jobe, I can kind of picture having the same thing. There's a learning curve that goes with that. But what's the biggest thing? He knows he's got to be in the strike zone and be in the strike zone with good stuff. And he's showing that this spring. The swing and miss will come, believe me. But he's already showing that he's willing to attack, not shy away from the strike zone. Tigers love it. Those two, Job and Mize, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with them this year.
Yeah, sorry. I think I said Jace Young. I meant Jackson Job. Sorry.
Yeah, I knew you did. Because that'd be something if Jace Young all of a sudden.
Right. If he could start throwing too, like Jackson Job, I mean, we'd have something there. Sorry, Bray.
I'm sure they'll bring him out of the pen anyway.
Good.
I had you. JJ.
Right.
You're good.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, Dan, first and foremost, I want to apologize on behalf of Maz, but you're not the only Dan that he frustrates, because he frustrates Dan Miller too, so don't feel too bad.
I love Maz. He knows it.
I know.
Same. We do too. I got to bring up a player. Yeah, I feel like, we bring up every year to see where the status is, and yes, it is Javi Baez. We know that the hip surgery is recovered. He's rehabbed. He should be ready for opening day. And this isn't anything negative. This is a real question to you. What is the expectation on Javi Baez for what he could do in the lineup early in the season?
I would say kind of going into camp along with Torkelson, those are kind of the two biggest questions. And it kind of goes back to what Tom was talking about with Torkelson. If Parker Meadows is healthy, it was going to be a real battle for Tork to make this opening day roster. I think still he could have hit his way on. But let's get back to the whole issue of that four-man bench, one's a catcher, three guys in who have to have position flexibility for A.J. Hinch. This is how he's run his offense ever since he got here. He refined it to a science last year. So I guess I keep wondering. Trey Sweeney, to me, the Tigers like their winning ball players. Trey Sweeney, they believe certain guys are just winning players, right? We talk about Parker Meadows. The one-loss record with him was, I can't remember the number off the top of my head, something like, 48-26. It was a crazy number. With Trey Sweeney, it was 26-10 in the games that Trey Sweeney played in. That's a winning player. I can't see Trey Sweeney being down at Toledo. I just can't. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but he plays a fine shortstop. He's a good athlete, a really good athlete, and he's got some pop. There's a lot of upside in his offensive game. But job number one is handling that position defensively. He can do that. So if he's on this roster, he's going to get the starts most days against righties. Righties start almost every single year, 75%, three-quarters of all games in the major leagues. He's going to get the majority of starts. So that if Javi makes the team, now he's part of that four-man bench, but there's no position flexibility, and he's not the same as Ibanez in terms of Ibanez is sitting on the bench. The other manager knows he's got to account for Ibanez and when he might be inserted into the game to pinch hit for a lefty when a lefty comes out of the bullpen. You won't feel that same way with Javi Baez until further notice, right? Unless he starts tearing it up. So I just keep trying to run that scenario through my head, and I'm just not picturing that. Everybody says, well, he has to make the team because of the contract. I get that, but every time I understand that, and then I go to what does that bench look like? If Trey Sweeney's getting the mostly everyday starts at short, I run into a problem where you've got a guy on the bench that other managers don't have to account for, batting from the right side, and he only plays one position. And that's the thing that I keep kicking around in my head.
Hey, Dan, a couple of players that we're looking forward to seeing. Max Clark, obviously, down the line. But another guy that's got position flexibility is the kid that they got in the Flaherty trade along with Sweeney. It's Tyron Lorenzo. And he's been something. He's on his way
Doesn't
up.
look like a 21-year-old who hasn't played above, what, A-ball?
I'm telling you, man, can we see him this year?
No, I think the one guy that's operating a little bit under the radar right now is Dylan Dingler. Don't forget how highly he was thought of, a product of that 2020 draft class.
Yep.
Maybe I think if you ask most people, he's one of the top two or three most athletic catchers in the game right now. He played center field his freshman year at Ohio State. This is an athletic kid who can hit. He's here for his, he got called up because of both things. He can hit and defense. Defense has never been a question. He did not hit in his time with the Tigers, but there's always that one part where you have to say, that's true, and it was a little over 70 trips to the plate, but he put so much time and effort into preparing his starting pitcher for the game that day, the game plan, making sure that he could handle every guy, every situation. unbelievable amount of time on the defensive side, all the game planning part and working on his skills. Didn't leave much time to try to develop the offensive game. All I know is that he hit 350 with power, with low strikeouts, his last almost 200 plate appearances at AAA. That's not a fluke, and I don't care how bad AAA pitching might be. That's a guy who's shown he can hit. So I'm really excited to see what he does, which is another way of saying with Tyron Lorenzo, no, a full year. I think they want to find out. Everybody's like, well, he's going to end up at first. Is he? I don't know. I see a guy who receives the ball pretty well. He can absolutely hit. He looks like he belongs in the major leagues at the plate. I'm telling you, really quality at bats. So I would say no, but you never know. In an injury, I would say it's probably a year too soon. But he's on the fast track, and I can tell you everybody's pretty excited about him.
Cool.
And we all talk about the bat, right? I mean, we believe this team is going to pitch and pitch their tails off, but what about the hitting? Who is going to be the bat that steps up? And we haven't had a chance to talk to you, Dan, since all of the Alex Bregman stuff, and we've talked about him ad nauseum here. So what was your take on Bregman and the fact that it appears that the Tigers – and Chris Illichou gets a lot of criticism for not spending. Opened up his checkbook and essentially gave Bregman, I think, the best deal out there. The player just didn't want to be here in the end. That's what it appears.
I think that's what it amounted to. I really do. Because 6 years, 171. It seems like confirmed by a number of sources, not by the Tigers, but it seems like that's a legit offer that they did make. I guess I'm just disappointed. People can criticize Scott Boras. I'm not a big critic. I think he does his best for his clients, right? But it felt like this was there's a lot of disingenuousness to these negotiations because he kept saying we need 6 years. We're not going to do one of those short-term. He was asked directly about it. We're not going to do one of those short-term opt-out contracts. We want 6 or more. So the Tigers give him 6 or more, and he settles for the opt-out contract on 3 years, which is a lot of deferred money. And I think they wanted to get to a certain, big number. They could say it's $40 million a year, but with the deferred, it's not. So anyway, in the end, it looks like he didn't want to be here. That's okay. As Scott Harris said, we want guys who want to be here.
Exactly.
And never underestimate, by the way, what the impact might be on a Jace Young. If Jace Young, hit his first home run yesterday, big relief for him. This kid can hit with some power. I'm picturing like a 240, 250 with some walks. Yeah, there'll be strikeouts, but some pop. And I think he can play third base at a level that's enough. If the bat is what I think it is and what I think the Tigers think it is, I think he can play third base well enough to stick at third base as the mostly everyday guy with others filling in, especially Matt Vierling when he comes back. But never underestimate. I mean, all right, the whole winter they're trying to get a third baseman. That's kind of my spot right now, at least for now. Second base maybe next year, but hey, and I don't think that kid needs a whole lot of extra motivation, but I think he's probably been trying to do a little bit too much. And now if he relaxes and starts going off, in the end, it might be the best signing they didn't make.
And there's no question about that. I will say it does feel like, and we talk about this with the Lions a lot, the Lions are one player away, maybe a guy that you could pair with Aiden Hutchinson. It feels like the Tigers are one big bat away from truly being a World Series contender. Would you agree or not agree with that assessment? And do you also agree or not agree with a lot of these national guys, the so-called experts, that feel the Tigers have a 2-year window because they don't believe that Tarek Skubal
I don't get the
will
window
resign
conversation.
Well,
that's such old school thinking. I know it's out there. Believe me, I know what you're saying. I've seen it. But it's like what when Tarek Skubal leaves, it seems like we got to rebuild again. I mean, have they been paying attention to what Scott Harris is doing? Scott Harris is trying to build something sustainable, and it's one of those words like, yeah, well, everybody says that. Well, you know what? St. Louis Cardinals had like 4 losing seasons in 30 years because they've done that. And you can mock the Cardinal way all you want, but every year they've got a competitive team, and all you need is maybe that one piece, and all of a sudden you're a 90-win team. That's what I think Scott Harris wants to do, build something sustainable by adding – and it's not just lip service, right? Because he said, how do you do that? You have to add more talent to the organization. Have they done that? Well, number 1 ranked farm system right now in all of baseball with some guys who – it's not only depth, but guys with tremendous upside and Clark and McGonigal and Job and Lorenzo and Brycinho. I mean, you can just go right down the list. And I think that's why they're going to have pitching. They've figured out the kinds of pitchers who can help. I think the run prevention is always going to be strong under Scott Harris, A.J. Hinch, and staff. You always have to include the staff. There's so much work that goes into this. And that's why I just think even if they lose Tarek Skubal, and it looks like they might, there's no window closing in 2 years. It's a door that they've opened, and I don't see anything but a team that expects to contend for a long time to come. I kind of compare it to 2006 when Jim Leland got here. There was no Miggy yet, and that opened up basically a 10-year window of competing. And every year you go into the season, whether it happened or not, expecting you're a favorite to win the Central Division and go deep into the postseason.
Yep, we own the Central was the moniker. Hey, this is going to be a new year for you, Dan, and for all baseball fans. 2 minor league parks in one season, in one league. How did Rob Manfred allow this to happen? How do you allow this to happen?
It started with Oakland. I just felt like you were just kind of throwing away all that history, a history that goes back to the 1960s in Oakland, just throwing it away for the promise of a stadium that still doesn't have financing in Las Vegas. And, is it going to be ready for 2028? They haven't even broken ground. Unlikely, I would say.
It's terrible.
And the fact that you couldn't, it's like, I don't know, it just felt like baseball had to be a little more proactive.
Yes.
With the city of Oakland, with the athletics organization saying, hey, guys, the best thing for baseball is for you to come to an agreement. What can we do to help? What can we do to make this happen? You can crap all over the Oakland Coliseum all you want. I like going there. That's all on the owner, not spending a penny trying to keep it up. But that's a major league ballpark. And believe me, it makes a difference to players.
You bet.
You're going to get your home ballpark is going to be a minor league ballpark. I don't care what the capacity is. It's one deck. It doesn't have the feel of a major league ballpark, no matter how nice you make the clubhouse. The fact that there are 2 in the American League is astounding.
It's a sin.
The St. Petersburg Tampa thing is, I'm not sure what the solution was there, because they weren't going to be able to rebuild that by opening day.
Sure they could have. Sure they could have. Sure they could have.
You think so?
They could have, of course. If baseball would have helped, that thing would have been already open.
Over it.
It sucks, man. It's terrible. It's bad for baseball.
I would agree with you, Tommy, 100%. And here's another thing to think about. Tampa and Oakland are 2 of the best pitchers ballparks in the American League.
Not anymore.
Both leagues, right? Now you're going to a desert where it's 110 in Sacramento for your home games. Now, I saw that it was a pitcher's ballpark, but remember what you're comparing it to, other ballparks in the PCL. If that's not a better hitter's ballpark than Oakland, I'll be absolutely stunned. Oakland was a pitcher's ballpark every single year because of where it was located. Tampa, second best. I mean, Tampa and Oakland every year right there for best pitcher's ballpark, for runs, for not allowing home runs, and now they're going outside into that warm, moist Florida air, even though they're trying to front load the schedule with a bunch of home games. That's not a small thing. 2 pitchers ballparks swapped out for 2 ballparks that I don't think there's any question will play above average for hitters. And I don't know, Tommy. I agree with you. It felt avoidable, and it was just it's a blow to me to have both of them. 160 games for those 2 teams combined in minor league ballparks. Yikes!
It's terrible, Dan. Hey, man, I know you got to get back to Grapefruit League games here, so we're going to let you go. Much appreciated. We love you. We cannot wait to hear you, and we're looking forward to the season, my man. And enjoy the Dodgers ring ceremonies. Remember,
my gosh, this is going to be amazing.
Just remember, the Lions ruined the Chiefs' Super Bowl ring ceremony. Let's do the same to the Dodgers.
It's like, oh no, they have to face the Dodgers and they're pitching. I'm like, yeah, guess what? The Dodgers have to face Skubal, Flaherty, and Olsen. So here we go.
Bet. Hey,
Let's
man.
go.
Have a great season, Dan.
Opening day, Dan.
Take care, Dan.
All right, guys. Love talking to you guys.
You guys
man.
so much for the time.
The great Dan Dickerson, longtime voice of the Detroit Tigers,
and
fellas.
even longer time friend of Tom Mazaway. So we appreciate that, Maz.
Had to get that in. I thought that was
Right.
Coming right back, we'll go around the NFL and also what Shaquille O'Neal
Oh,
is saying about
Shaq
the
Fu.
Detroit Pistons. Shaqtin' a fool. But
He
first, the
was shacking the
message
fool up there.
from Dr. Pierce.
All right, Dr. Pierce. You know it, guys. Attention, sports fans. Do not miss our expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. He joins Big D Energy every Tuesday. He's with us Thursday. That's tomorrow. He trusts the guy that DMAC and Braylon trust. For more information, you want to call 248-426-9944 and check him out online at michigansportsandspine.com.
And speaking of Tigers, man, I know you're tired of wearing that same old Tigers gear from last year. Opening day is weeks away, man. Shop.woodwardsports.com. That's where you need to go to get your hoodies, your tees, your hats. All of the new designs on the website guaranteed to turn heads. So when opening day comes and you're out drinking in the streets, everybody's going to be stopping you, asking you, where did you get that shirt? Where did you get that hoodie? I need to get one just like that. You simply look them in the face and tell them, shop.woodwardsports.com. Go get your merch now. We'll be right back.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got
everybody.
This
guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. With over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations, Planet Fitness is a gym for you because it's a gym for everybody. And also, we got to tell you, it's fitness that fits into a budget, man. We want to make sure we do not hit you over the head on the price point, and they don't. Squeaky clean gym trainers with every membership, and there's no judgment. I don't know what you guys are planning for Planet Fitness. You see, it's nice outside. It was 60 yesterday. Got a little colder today, but the sun was out. I mean, spring's around the corner. Time to get in shape, and you need to do it Planet Fitness. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, but that's not Ryan Ermanni over there. It's our very own man of a million talents. He makes this place go around. It is Stick, man.
Is that an upgrade? What's an upgrade?
It's not an upgrade. Listen, it's not an upgrade. Ryan Ermanni
depends on who you ask.
is a media hustler. I'm just happy to fill his seat for a couple minutes here.
What's wrong with you, brother?
This is it, man. I love the controversy going on between
Right.
shows.
Who do you
We got
like?
Neil
Who
going
you
at
with?
Ryan. We got Ryan going.
Who you
know
with?
In the back, D-Mac almost punched that man in
So
the
that's
face.
what Maz was telling
And
me
I'm
that,
his
but I
friend.
couldn't really get a sense of how serious it was. It was a little bit of backing in.
I only heard about it, right?
Okay.
Like, say people are coming out. Did you hear about D-Mac and Maz? I'm like, no, what happened? D-Mac was yelling at Maz, calling him a flip-flopper back there. Maz, how do you address these allegations?
I take him with pride. It's my man, Darren McCarty. I love him to death. But yeah, I'll go with him. Him and his what's their saying?
Crony.
No, what's their saying?
Stoke not scared.
Stoke not scared. Give me a
Yeah.
break with that.
Here's- let
Stoke
me-
not scared.
I was trying to trigger D-Mac yesterday when I was filling in for Neil about Steve Eiserman. I kept
Oh, the
like,
eyes
"Come
are
on,
playing.
man,
That's
come
not
on."
working.
And
What happened to
couldn't
the
get
eyes are
D-Mac to
playing?
Oh,
explode,
God.
But I did get him to like rip up his entire prep sheet
Wild
while he
guy.
was talking to me.
The eyes are playing as kaput, by the way.
Oh, 100%. There is no plan.
There's
And
no
I
It's a
think
plan.
long-term plan.
No, well,
It
it's
involves patience and many years.
But the problem is, it's 6 years in. If this is anybody other than Steve Eisman, we would have a problem with it. This
yeah.
person wouldn't be there, or we'd be calling for that person's job. But because it's Stevie Y, my captain, who I told you before the 2003 Ohio State game, he came and spoke to the team. It's the only time I beat Ohio State. So I always will love number 19. But it's not about that right now. It's about 6 years and no results.
Wings and Sabres tonight, by the way.
But here we are once again, another year, 18 games left in the year, and we're like, come on, Wings.
Right.
They haven't got a point in 2 weeks.
Oh, they've lost 6 in a row. They play the Sabres, worst team in the NHL tonight. By the way, the odds as of right now for the Wings to make the playoffs. Anyone have a guess? Just give me odds. Something to 1. Something to 1. Give me something.
Oh,
100 to 1.
Well, they're 4 points out.
30 to 1, Tom.
I go 250 to 1.
No, they're 9 to 1.
9 to 1?
9 to 1. But that makes them the third longest shot in the NHL
Well, it's
right
13.
now to make the playoffs.
It's
Here
3
we
teams
are
in front
again.
of them.
They're the type of team that, though, as soon as you give up, like, I'm giving up on them. Next thing you know, they're going to win. Yeah, like,
Yeah, they got to win
this
4 or
is-
5 in a row now
This is
again.
my complaint, though. This is exactly where we were last year with
Right.
this team. Just please go on a winning streak so we can make the playoffs and get our ass beat. Just please, or get our butt beat. Please, 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 please. And I just hate that we're in the same spot we were last year. And to Darren McCarty's defense, he's like, no, we got a different coach. You know, the players are playing hard. They're putting 50 shots on goal. And all those things can be true. But I'm a results-oriented guy, and if you're putting up 50 shots on goal or 10 shots on goal, if you lose the game, does it matter?
Yeah, and here's my combatant to that, and I love D-Mac. You know that's my brother. Don't be pushing up on Maz, man. I'm going to have to talk to you about that. But that's my brother, and I love him dearly. But here we go. The Detroit Lions, we know what their plan is. We know what the Detroit Lions are. We know what they're going to do year to year now, correct? The Detroit Pistons, year 1 of a new management in the front office. We know their plan now.
Yeah.
And they've told us what they're going to do. The Tigers and Scott Harris, we know their plan. They told us what they're not going to do. They told us what they are going to do. They're going to depend on the farm league and the young guys. They don't want to pay talent. They told us our plan. It's only one franchise in the city where we're like, I don't know.
Who would have thought it would
Yep.
be the Lions is the one franchise we're the most secure with?
100%, I love it.
In what world are we living
But tell me
right
I'm
now?
lying.
So the
Bizarro.
Red
The
Wings
upside
are
down.
a question mark, and the Lions are the sure thing.
Bizarre
With
world.
Stevie Y at the helm.
Like,
Right.
what are we doing? It's bizarro world, but I'll take it.
All right, let me lay off Stevie Y and the Red Wings a little bit. Getting back to the Lions, here's my issue with the whole "are you in, are you out" conversation. Because you can be in and have questions.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. Are you in or are you out? Like, what does he mean by that? Because in my estimation, I'm all the way in, but I have questions as I have more information.
But you know, as we live
Yeah.
in the social media culture, it's prisoners of the moment. It's reactionary to what's happening now. It's no longer the big picture scenario like we're giving Steve Eiserman. It's, day 1 of free agency and we didn't sign Lawrence Taylor from 1979. This is awful. Brad Holmes doesn't know what he's doing. Like, everybody's lost the hindsight of Brad Holmes took us to 15-2. Brad Holmes took us to an NFC championship game. All of a sudden, those are no longer qualifiers. Unless he gets Myles Garrett. Unless he gets... So, like, there's just the overreaction to how simple it should be. Hey, guess what? Your team was 15-2 last year.
Yeah.
You guys want to go sign a big defensive end that you didn't have last year? You know who that's going to be? He's already on the roster. His name's Aiden Hutchinson.
Right.
You signed a big defensive end coming back this year that you didn't have last year. So I just think it's a little prisoner of the moment. I get offended by it just like Neil, so I understand it. It's like, guys, like, what more? It's like Jared Goff. What more does this guy have to do for you? before you admit that he's a good quarterback and you can win with him. 15-2 wasn't good. Getting you an NFC Championship game wasn't
Beating
good.
Washington, not a very good defense would have helped.
What's that?
Beating Washington in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not a very good defense.
That's great.
That would have helped me.
That's great. That's one example you can give where Jared Goff didn't get it done in the playoffs this year. Fine. Did
But
he
it
get it
ended
done
the
the year
year, bro.
before?
It
Did he
ended
get
the-
it done in the regular season?
It
Has
don't
he been a
matter.
top
Regular
5?
season don't matter, man. It don't.
You know, for a Lions fan to act like we've been here this whole time and the regular season doesn't matter, it's really silly, Maz. You know the regular season matters. Otherwise, you'd be comfortable with 3-13-1. You're comfortable with that?
You know that's silly.
So the regular season does matter.
It matters a little. To get in the playoffs is what the goal is.
Right, and now
to get
we're
a
there.
home playoff game is an extra cherry on top of the
Right.
cake.
And
but
now
to
we're
win
there.
a playoff game is what you're there for.
But now we're there every year, right? For the past 2 years, we're there.
Every
And
year,
for the
last 2 years,
And
right.
for the foreseeable future, we're going to be there.
We hope so.
You know so.
I think so.
The core's built.
I think
it's
so.
It's there.
I think so.
Right. So, like,
I just wanted them to grab one player that they could have put on the line opposite Aiden Hutchinson. I don't care. It could have been the two Philadelphia guys. I know Milton Williams plays the middle, but Josh Sweat plays the end. I would have taken him. I would have taken the former Washington guy that went yesterday. Bray, who was the defensive end?
Jonathan Williams?
Jonathan. Anybody. So anyone that didn't have a name tag from last year's Lions team, I would have taken and put on the opposite side. I liked Zadarius Smith. I did.
And he
They
could
didn't
still
wanna-
be signed today.
They didn't want to pay him.
Yeah, but he's still not signed by anybody.
understand
Why
that.
didn't anybody else want to pay him?
I don't care about anybody else. I thought he was a good fit on this team.
But what I'm telling you is just because you're excited for a guy doesn't mean he's the guy.
I got
and
it.
just because you're saying, I just need a signing, that's just lazy.
No, it's not lazy.
It is.
I don't want to trot. You're trotting the same team back out next year.
The 15-2 team with 22 injuries? Okay. Let's trot them back out healthy.
How about the other teams around you that got better? You think you're going
happens
to run
every
away
year.
again? Last year, it took to the last game of the year to clinch the division.
Right. You didn't run away last year. You're not going to run away this year. There is no running away in the NFL. It's designed this way.
How do you know more guys aren't going to get hurt off that
You
team?
don't. But we can play the what-if game. How do you not know that every guy's going to get Superman strength and survive the whole season? You don't. And that's where it's just we have become a spoiled fan base in the course of 2 years.
I think I have the privilege. I have the privilege of not being a Lions fan until 4 years ago, like surely. So the way I'm looking at it any other way I would look at a franchise that I see on the rise, making moves, doing things, and have 2 years, 3 years, some success, and now they're up against this crux year based on how I finished. So I'm not looking at it like, oh, it's over. Oh my God, I'm not looking at it like that. Just more so as I'm watching, more so still from afar. As I'm watching the Lions, I'm like, oh, last year was tough. Didn't have necessary defensive bodies. Looking at this offseason this year, you got one guy that's coming in off a compound fracture. I don't know about you. Compound fractures are tough. He does not start this season as he started last season. It's just facts. It takes a little bit of time. He'll be healthy, but it takes time to get back to that mental reps, game reps. Got another guy, Nalim McNeil. Not a lot of defensive tackles tear their ACLs and are able to come back at the same speed within the same year. DJ Reader was hurt last year. You signed Davenport back. He only played 2 games. So it's more so just looking at it where's the assurity of some healthy players, more so for me.
But you know the NFL, not for long, right?
Yeah.
It's not if, it's when. Everybody's going to get hurt. It's just you've never seen what happened to the Lions last year, and I think
No, you haven't.
I think time will tell you, and history will tell you that happening again is unlikely, right? Even if it's 11 injuries, it's still half of what you endured. But when you were playing, Braylon, there's teams that you know are going to be good year in and year out. Even if they don't make massive moves in the offseason, right? You're like, okay, that roster's pretty much set. And when the NFL season kicks off this year,
The Ravens.
the Lions are going to be considered one of the top rosters in the NFL, right?
Offense, because the offensively they're stacked. They're still intact on the offense side of the ball.
So
Offensive line.
That's why I
moves
don't
in
like the panic, right?
Right.
It's still yet to be seen. Odds are Maz will be right, and they're not going to win a Super Bowl. You know why? Because only one team wins a Super Bowl every year. And if you want to take, if they don't win a Super Bowl, this team's a fraud. They suck. If that's your stance, 99.9% you're going to be right. And it's an easy, lazy take to have the Super Bowl as your bar.
So your take is not lazy, just saying they're okay?
I didn't say they're okay. I think they're a damn good football team.
Yeah, so they're okay.
And they're going 15-2.
So you don't have to add anybody outside the draft. You don't have to add anybody to this team.
You are adding through health.
What makes my take lazy and your take not lazy?
Because you're forgetting the nuance of you're getting healthy players back.
I'm not forgetting it.
So you're adding already to the roster, right?
They were already on the team. They got hurt at different times of the year.
Let me ask you, when this whole roster on the defensive side of the ball, before Z was even here, because he wasn't even a thought.
Do you think they could have beat the Eagles the way they were?
Maz, let me finish my question.
Do you think they could have beat the Eagles?
The way they were? No. Do I think they could have beat them if they were healthy? Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What were they a top 5 defense when they were completely healthy?
They were okay.
No.
They weren't top 5.
Yes, they were.
Well, they didn't look like a top 5.
Go check the first 5 games of
we
last season.
outscored a lot of teams. That
they were
I know.
a top 5 defense.
Your statue quarterback, Jared Goff, who I like, would have gotten crushed by the Eagles.
You think so?
Yes. Your beaten up offensive line would have gotten crushed by that Eagle defensive line.
Yeah, and is this the same Eagles team that they were talking about firing their head coach the year before because he
it's
wasn't
because they didn't make
enough?
the Super Bowl.
I thought that's your standard, though,
It
Maz.
is, but they
Wait,
made it-
if they don't make a Super Bowl, they're complete failures.
But
Got it.
they
They're not
made-
doing anything.
They made it
They
the
made
year
it, though.
before. And they made it 6 years prior to that.
was
And they
your
made it last year. They won 2 of 3 Super Bowls in 8 years, man.
I get that, Maz. But
I
if
don't
your
think you do.
barometer, the Philly fans that wanted Sirianni fired last year, do they look stupid now?
Most of them didn't want him fired.
That
Most
was
of them didn't want him
Come
fired.
on, that was the conversation
He acts
last
silly
year.
sometimes, but you know what? They buy into that. He's a Philly guy. They buy into his thing. They buy into him arguing with fans in the stands. He's a Philly guy.
It wasn't about his arguing; it was about his record. They wanted him gone because Philadelphia was losing games last year.
No, Jalen Hurts was fighting with his teammates. That's why they lost. Braylon, back me up.
Definitely was. Last year he was fighting with wide receivers. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, they were not on the same page. Plus, he was injured. There was a lot of things, including Nick Sirianni having beef with some of the kids, which sparked the interest of him talking to the fans in the crowd. The thing that I love about this conversation, realistically, Stick and Maz, is both sides, we're having it because it's out of fear to a certain extent. It's out of nervousness to a certain extent. You guys don't want to change anything because you're like, no, I like it how it is. It's good. It's good like it is.
No.
We're like, add because we see it going a certain way. So I think
I want
on
them
both
to add,
but
I'm also not jumping off the bridge if they don't. I think that's the difference. I'm not saying, no, this team's perfect. It's untouchable. It's pristine. Brad Holmes, sit back, relax.
Here we
for
go. Now
4
we're
years.
getting somewhere.
Like, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is, they didn't go get Myles Garrett. Yeah, that makes sense. In what world are you going to pay $80 million for 1 year for 2 end pieces?
Yeah, no.
Does that happen in the NFL?
No.
It can't. You would have to put Maz at defensive
You
back.
wouldn't have paid him for 1 year. You would have paid him to be a bookend.
But it's a $40 million contract.
I understand that.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
I get
that's
it.
an impossibility.
Yeah,
And we can operate in Madden land all day long.
I don't have a problem with the Max Crosby and the Myles Garrett. Like, did I want them at the time when they announced that it was a potential? Yes. Everybody wants to play Madden. But once you really look at the books, it's like, cool. You understand that it's not a possibility.
See, Terrell.
Yeah, Terrell doesn't get
I
it.
thought we had a
He doesn't
moment,
get it.
Terrell. I called you a name during the season, and then we had the bonding period. But then he comes, Stick doesn't want to add.
He doesn't
I
get
didn't
it.
say that. I'm just saying, who are you going to add? Because
Ooh.
this is the problem I have with
Josh
people
Sweat.
This is the problem I have with people
Josh
that know
Sweat.
how to fix everything. It's like, let's go back to Michigan when everybody wanted Harbaugh gone. You know what my question was? Who are you bringing in?
Yeah.
And you know what the answer was? Crickets, right? Because who are you going to bring in that's better than Harbaugh? Right now, who is available that you could bring in realistically that's better than what you have?
Josh Sweat.
You think Josh Sweat, a linebacker. You're bringing a linebacker when you need defensive end help.
He could rush
That's the solution.
I'm just throwing a guy out there.
Exactly, and that's all you're doing.
No,
you're
no,
not
no,
coming
no.
up with
See,
real solutions.
You're not letting me finish.
You're throwing out names,
He
man.
rushes the passer.
They all do when they're on defense, but that doesn't mean you're a defensive end. Like the defensive tackle rushes. When I blitz the cornerback, guess what he's doing?
I know.
It doesn't make him a defensive end.
I know you're happy with Roy Lopez. It's okay. You could be happy with Roy
I think
Lopez
Roy
and
Lop- I
Marcus
think- I think
Davenport.
Lopez is a
Enjoy.
solid foundational
Enjoy
piece.
those guys. Enjoy them.
You need rotational players.
We'll bring in Pat O'Connor again. We'll bring in Mohammed bringing all these practice
But you won't
squad
need
guys.
those guys this year.
Bring
The
the
reason they
practice
had
squad
to get
guys.
to a Mohammed, the
Okay.
reason they had to get to an
We'll
O'Connor.
hope Kaminsky comes back from all his injuries as well. We'll hope. We'll hope and pray that all these injuries
Are you
heal.
seriously
Aleem
pretending like you
McNeil.
don't know why those guys play?
Braylon, how's their defensive line stacking up right now as we sit here right now?
DJ Reader, injured. Aleem McNeil,
injured.
Aiden Hutchinson,
injured.
Yeah, that's NFL for you, Maz. We can do this with every roster.
Our line
Jalen
is
Hurts missed some time.
Our line.
Injury-prone quarterback.
Our defensive line is depleted right now as we sit here.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's getting healthier as we're sitting here, and that's.
Okay.
I think that's the major disconnect, right?
Right.
Maz doesn't see him getting healthier. He thinks they're going to run it back with the same injured crew they had last year.
Because right now they are. There's 4 guys on there that are coming back from injury, and that's our starting line. That's our starting defensive line right now. And I think that's what bothers Maz. And I think there's right to have concern. You got 4 injuries. 2 of them are major injuries that these guys are coming back. These are your 4 interior line. I mean, your defensive line. Like, this defense is going to be very key this year because this schedule will be much better than the schedule that you play next year. You're not just going to have your offense allowing you to do what you want on defense because it's so far ahead where they know you got to pass the ball. Now the defensive line can pin their ears back and go at the quarterback. You're going to play against some really good quarterbacks this year. You're going to play against some really good teams. You're going to need your offense and your defense.
Yep.
Pretty much the whole season.
And
You know who can help us?
The minute you have Aiden Hutchinson back,
Yeah.
the whole blocking scheme changes up front for whatever team you're playing.
Right.
Now the double teams that were going towards Reader, going towards Zadarius, going towards Aleem McNeil have to be going towards Aiden Hutchinson. So guess what? Aleem McNeil's going to have a little easier time this year.
If he
DJ
plays.
I will say this, the best thing for it.
Jesus, Maz.
He tore his ACL.
In November or what?
Yeah.
In November.
Late in the
That's
season.
late.
This is 2025.
I got it, Pete.
Not 1957,
Oh.
where an ACL takes you 4 years to recover.
He's also 330 and some change.
That's fine. He's
Like,
built for it.
Usually we come up here, we talk about ACLs. We're
But
talking about
don't they heal a lot faster
They do.
now than they used to, Braylon?
because the procedures are much better. The
Thank
scientific
you.
process and methods that they use, they are faster to heal. At the same time, there's still a lot of weight for a guy.
Ask Dr. Pierce about that.
We
tomorrow.
will. We'll talk to him tomorrow. But right now, I want to tell you about. I want to talk to you about Mark White. You know, dreaming of a new home but feeling a financial pinch. Mark White and Associates, your team, your trusted real estate experts are here to help you. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's $5,000 that you can give Brad Holmes to sign somebody. That's right. Call Mark White and Associates today. 248-290-8242. Hit him up online. MarkWhiteSells.com. Again, that number 248-290-8242. Go get him, Braylon. Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts. They're here to make your dreams come true.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won.
This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Woodward Sports is at it again, giving away more cash and prizes than anyone in Detroit. Get into our March Bracket Challenge, powered by Jug and Nathan Neurosurgery. If you have the biggest basketball brain and get first place, you win $1,000 cold hard cash. But it doesn't stop there. Second place gets a weekend at Grand Traverse Resort in Traverse City, including brunch at Erie and golf. Third place, 2 club seats to see the Pistons versus Bucks with food and drinks courtesy of RHB Laboratories in Troy. You can pre-register now at WoodwardSportsBracket.com. That's WoodwardSportsBracket.com. Then, after Selection Sunday, fill out your bracket for your chance at $1,000 in cash money and more. Pick by mascot, choose by team colors, have your dog pick. No matter how you do it, go to WoodwardSportsBracket.com right now and register. All powered by the best in the game, Jug and Nathan Neurosurgery and Woodward Sports.
Well, you just saw the Bracket Challenge sweeper, and you know that March Madness is in full effect. The Big Ten tournament just tipped off about 20 minutes ago, and you might as well scan that QR code above my head and use the code word Woodward1000 to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. Now's the time, and when you open up that brand new account, deposit at least $20 and make a first bet of $20 or more. If that first bet happens to lose, you'll get that first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan the QR code above my head and use the code word Woodward1000 to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. Now back to the greatest match on turf, and that would be the Woodward Sports Wrestling match.
Ding ding. Speaking of the greatest match on turf, like even their window came and went. Now this has nothing to do with the Lions, so I don't.
That was
want people-
quick.
But I'm saying the offensive side. That one year they won the Super Bowl. The very next year they got figured out. Then it's just Mellon.
Tom Brady beat him the second year, but that was
True.
it after that.
Yeah, because Kurt Warner left and went to
Until
Arizona.
Matthew Stafford rescued him just a couple of years ago.
Carl M. Robinson, Maz, you need to calm down, respect the road that's being traveled, or find another road.
You want me to read
find
all
new roads, Maz.
You want me
Go
to read,
find them.
You want me to read all the anti-stick stuff?
There isn't any.
Oh God, it would take me too long. It would take me too long to read it. Hey guys, when it comes down to it, we're all Lions fans. Look, no one drinks the Kool-Aid more than me. Okay, I'm just giving you the facts. I've been alive longer than all of you. Okay, I've been watching the Super Bowl since number 5. Since number 5.
I was there.
Number 5, 1970. I was 8 years old. I've been watching since I was 8 years old, and I have never seen this team in that game. Never. That's it. It's Super Bowl 60. I just want to get there. I'm sorry. If you don't like what I'm saying, okay. It's all opinions. We all got them. Just like you know what. We all got that too.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You look at the Green Bay Packers over the past 10 years. Ryan brought that up, but I'm going to just dive in just a little deeper. Especially like when Aaron was there, even when he wasn't. Look when Aaron was there. They were 13-3, 13-3, 13-3, 11, had all these wins. Got to the NFC Championship twice. Didn't make it to the Super Bowl, got cracked. Don't you know those Green Bay fans were same thing, analysts, media people. This is what they should do. I think this could be a move. I think they need to add a defensive end, or I think they actually need to add a tight end. Tight end is an area where they lacked and all that where they were good. They did all that, but it didn't matter because it came to a head and they didn't get to the Super Bowl and they didn't win. So I think for me, we're just doing the same thing. All right, this didn't work. What do you want to add? What do you got?
I don't know.
I was sending you a text.
Oh,
it didn't
go
come
ahead,
through.
Pete. You got something?
No, not you, Braylon. I was sending Stick a
but you
text
did
for
say you had
show.
some before we ended
Oh,
the show.
we got the
content.
countdown going.
Yes,
There we go.
exactly.
We are 3 minutes away from the
Thank
new
you.
year of the NFL
Thank you.
season.
Yes.
And maybe that will bring on a new attitude
Yes.
from Eeyore Tom Mazaway.
I am definitely not Eeyore.
You are so Eeyore.
Bro, who smiles and laughs more than me? Come on.
He's definitely a
Come
Winnie
on,
the Pooh.
man. I'm never in a bad
give him
mood.
that.
Never. The only time I was in a bad mood was last year when the Lions crapped the bed against Washington. And I haven't recovered. Okay? They gutted me. And I haven't recovered. They took my love of football away. Okay?
So is
I
that-
just want to see him
Hey.
bounce back this year.
Is that what this is about? You still hurt?
Yeah, I'm still hurt. You're damn right.
But I think it's fair though. Like if you look at Tom Mazaway's rooting experience, you can do that stick because yours is even worse. You look at Tom's rooting experience. 63 years old now. Started in New York.
Yep.
He's cheered for the New York Jets and the Detroit Lions, and even cheering for the Giants,
and the
who
Packers,
bought him
and
a
the
couple-
Giants, and
but-
the 49ers.
But, true,
and-
but that's football. His three teams
Not the
are
49ers.
his three teams are Jets, Giants, Lions.
Yes.
Jets, Giants, Lions. Nothing but misery. And even the Giants, you can
Except for 4 years of the Giants.
and you can
Nothing
argue,
but misery.
and you can even argue them
Yeah.
misery. Giants are a dumpster fire.
Without the 4 Super Bowls, they're a dumpster.
So
They were a
it's-
dumpster my entire childhood.
It's 63 years of jadedness. Out of those 63, 59 of them are dealing with.
The Jets are the freaking Lions of the AFC. I've said that forever.
but
the
you're not Testaverde or
the
whatever
Lions
his name was.
haven't been to a Super Bowl. The Jets
I've been more
have won
championships
one
than
Super Bowl,
Testaverde.
right? The Jets have won one Super Bowl.
They didn't even win the
They
AFC
weren't
to
in the
get there.
NFL. They were in the AFL.
AFL.
I didn't even, you know what, Maz, I'm going to tell
I
you.
love
see,
the AFL.
I didn't even realize that until you said it this past season. I even played for the Jets, but it's something you never think about. You just Super Bowl, oh yeah, he beat the Colts, and Johnny Unitas didn't play to the end. Earl Morrall played, blah blah blah. I know the stats.
Earl no morals.
But I did not know. I forgot that they were in the AFL when it happened. So there was not an AFC championship game.
Let me give you a little.
I've been more AFC Championship games.
30
Joe
seconds,
Namath.
guys.
I'm gonna
30
give you-
seconds.
Joe Namath.
I'm going to give you a little fun
30
fun
seconds.
fact. Don Shula coached that Baltimore
You close
team
us out, Pete.
that lost to the Jets in '69. Don Shula coached the '72 Dolphins, the undefeated Dolphins. Bob Greasy got hurt at the beginning of the year. Earl
I
Morrall
remember
took
that.
him to the end. But guess what? Bob Greasy played the Super Bowl. Don Shula would not let Earl Morrall play another Super Bowl
Because
for
he
him.
knew.
10.
He knew better.
9.
8,
Pete is the
7,
Denmark of football.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Why is this a new year?
It's the official.
official.
It's the official NFL.
We
New
got
Year.
a new season, Pete.
Contracts
It's
kick
official.
in. Cooper
Go
Cup officially
Lions!
released.
Go Lions!
Let all the losses be.
He forgot and all the wins come
We only
down.
had 2.
Forward
Down
down
the
the field.
field.
Nice job, Ricky.
I
Nice
hope
job.
Ricky's great.
A little freestyle.
Ricky.
I like that. Johnny on the spot.
Hey,
I hope
Happy
what you
New
took
Year,
out of
guys.
this today is we can all have a conversation and we can get to a point of respect. I respect your opinion, you respect mine, and we keep it funky. Because Ermanni and Edwards with Maz will always hold it down
Stick.
on Woodward Sports Network.
Two at you. How about one of these? How about one of these?
Hey, Pete, hell of a job by you. Pete
Appreciate you guys.
Spivak.
Hey,
Appreciate you as always.
$5 more from Byrne, Muskegon, Michigan's own Earl. No moral. That's right.
There it is.
No moral. He was a lion back in the
Byrne.
day.
See you
See you
later.
tomorrow, guys. Thanks, Stick.
Yeah.